Hello, hello. Welcome to the back porch with Feltalala once again. Today, we couldn't get cuter. We're doing this little Santa. He's Santa, and he's kind of an ornament. I'm really liking his roundy egg shape, egg shaped body. I think he's absolutely adorable. So you're probably here because you've bought the kit from me. But if you're here just because you came upon us and you do want the kit, you can go to feltalala.com. Feltalala, feltalala.com, and find the kit there. So in your kit, you will have received a small felting mat, 2 needles, they're 38 star needles, and they're really good quality, which is important. And you will have received some wool. Now for Santa, for this Santa, standard my culture Santa, I've gone with a peach. So his body, which we don't really see, but it's in there, his body and the little bit of face that we see are peach. If your Santa is not peach, I do have other colors. Just let me know, or we could do a mix and blend. But this guy is peach, so you'll receive that for the body, red for the coat and the hat, this core white for the mitts and the trim. Wool that I really like for needle felting is this core wool. It's a beautiful Canadian wool. It's 2832 microns, kind of a medium consistency, and the Canadian Wool Cooperators, I think it's called. They do this. They work with a number of farmers, but to process the wool, they just wash it very gently a couple times in cold water, and they use this antique equipment. So the result I find is a wonderful needle felting wool. I love it. I love it. I love it. But then this white is more processed, so the fibers are much longer. And I like this for his beard and his curly hair. So you'll have some of the white, sometimes called a top, sometimes called I think it's sliver, but I've also heard sliver. I don't know. So there's that. And then this tiny bit of gold, which is for the trim on his hands and at the top of his hat. And also a small bit of black. You need less than this. I probably sent you less than half because it just makes his tiny little feet and his little eyes. So that's what we have. Here's how needle felting works. If you know this already, just fast forward. If you don't, here you go. There are little barbs in the end of the needle, and there are little barbs in the wool. And as you tap, 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 these barbs grab the barbs in the wool and they start to entangle. And it's by entangling the barbs in the wool that we are able to make any kind of shape, attach shapes to each other, attach wool to fabric if you're wanting to do painting with wool or coloring with wool with our coloring kits. And that's really how it works. So the two things that people do when they start is that they stab themselves and they break needles. So you may have bought a leather cot for me to protect your fingers. If not, just be cautious. Just don't get too excited and stab yourself. Try not to stab yourself. And then also, you won't break the needle if you go straight in and out, straight in and out. You can go at a diagonal, just come out the same way you went in, and that should take care of it. So, how are we going to begin to do our Santa? Santas, can you watch? He also has this little tag because he's meant to hang on a tree. He's a little wobbly for standing up. Oh, but he does stand. There you go. How delightful is that? So, we're going to start with this. And I'm just going to pull the wool out a little bit. But this is really going to create the body that we're putting everything on. So we want to felt it. We want it to be firm. It doesn't need to be rock solid, but fairly firm. And so you have this stick. So you roll the wool around the stick. Santa fell over. Now let's do this. Let's give him a little, oh, there we go. He's propped up a bit. So I'm going to roll the wool just in the thickness that it is, pretty tightly around this stick, and then tap, tap, tap here to seal it. So do not tap into the stick because that will break your needle. We're just tapping along the edge, right? And that entanglement is happening, and that's kind of locking that wool together. And you need to lift it up frequently because as you tap it, you're going to be tapping it into your felting mat. So just try to do it fairly tightly. Do a couple more turns, and then we're going to tap, 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 tap again. Tap, 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 tap. We're still on the back porch. It is mid-October really now. So happy to still be able to be back here. We'll move into the studio soon, but as long as I can stay on the back porch, I will. One felter reached out to me, and I'm sorry, I forget which kit she had, but she said in the background in the video she could hear a cricket, and it made her think there was a cricket in her house, and she went on a mission to find the cricket, but it was on the video. So I don't hear any crickets today. I do hear birds. So this is similar to making the Peter Rabbit, right? When we make the Peter Rabbit, we first make this kind of a firm tubular shape to start things off. Oh, now I should have remembered this. Let's take a little bit off the end for his little nose. Doot, doot, doot. And I'm also going to take another little bit off of the end because I might want to thicken up his middle a bit. So actually let's take 2 bits off for middle thickening. The Santa is a robust, round character. So I'm going to lift it up. Just keep going. Santa fell over again. Don't fall over, Santa. And I'm just going to twist him, and this friction does a little bit of felting as well. Just twist it several times. Okay, and then pull it right off. So now I have this tubular shape. You can see I've picked up some fibers from back here onto the shape. Not intentionally. So I'm going to tap this down a bit. This is going to be his head. And you can see we're very similar in size. And height. If that's his head, and then I'm going to want to to put a neck right about there, I think. So I'm going to tap in for his neck fairly vigorously. This is bugging me, so I'm going to take them out. There's just little bits of vegetative matter, which you will get because this wool came from a sheep. We just pick them out when we see them. So here I'm evening. I'm evening this out. Very little of this core, this inner core piece is going to show. Just like a tiny little bit of his face. Neck. Just coming around and around. I want him to have a neck. You can see here that we're going to build onto that neck. We're going to give him a nice plush collar. Cozy, bundled up Santa for his trek around the world. Okay, now currently he's just too thin, isn't he? Let's give him some more body, which we will do. Better not to do really thick amounts, right? If you try to put a chunk on, like quite a thick chunk, that's going to be more difficult than if we do some layers. And you can see here, I've really got this nice curve to him, right? This nice kind of egg-shaped curve. So that's what we're going to try to accomplish now. Just tapping it in. I want to entangle the pieces that I've added with what is already there, but also thinking about creating that curve. There are lots of projects where you want things to be fairly firm so that you can felt something else onto it. And we are going to be felting that coat onto this. So if it's too loosey-goosey, then we won't we won't be able to do that without it kind of losing shape. So this is the base shape that we will add everything to. I do love my tweezers. I recommend that you have a nice set of tweezers nearby. Okay, so we're starting to get a bit of a curve. Let's add some more. Go right around the middle now. Now, instead of giving a little roll, do a little hand felting there. See how I'm doing with my shape. So I think like when we do ball shapes, that because you've seen these curves and these shapes so many times, it's in your mind. You don't have to think about it too much. I think you just kind of can intuitively do it as long as you keep your product moving, keep your project moving round. So as I move it, right, and I tap, 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 I just naturally make that curve. He's a little flatter on this side, but we can fix that. The point being just that you don't have to overthink it. So I saved a piece for his nose. Mustn't forget to keep that there. Let's go a small bit. Let's go one more time around. One more time around. Just in that middle. that little fella, I think. Giving him a flatter bottom surface. Because I'm going to have two little feet coming out of there. Even that out. Okay. And let's go back over that neck a little bit now that we've added more. Okay. I think that's very good, basic Santa shape. Santa. Now for a red coat, Santa.